Are you frustrated with the kinds of shows that you're being offered for your band? Today on the podcast, we're talking about a few things you can do on your own to help build your fan base, get better offers, and build a following in your town. We'll see you on the inside. What's going on, guys? This is Mike from the Songwriters Planner. Thanks for joining me today on this podcast. I really appreciate it. Definitely love seeing you guys show up week after week. Checking out the content, checking out what I have going on here. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I've been doing this podcast now. I started it back in June, I believe, of 2018, and it has just been growing. So I really, really appreciate that, guys. I always try to take a moment before I start talking about the subject of today to just say thank you and really appreciate you guys checking in. I probably say that too much, or I can't say it enough, whichever way you look at it. We are here in my studio. I am doing another stand-up format podcast, kind of trying this out, seeing if it makes me think a little bit clearer, think a little bit better. I'm always trying to improve what I'm saying out there and improve my train of thought. I have trouble doing that sometimes. So usually my podcast consists of me sitting down in my lounge area. Today I'm standing up in my studio, which has this cool backdrop, as you can see. And if you're listening on the podcast, come check it out on my website. You'll see what I'm talking about. But anyway, today on the podcast, I wanted to talk about something that I think every band and every artist that I know of and that I've ever worked with always is concerned with and always asks the same question, right? Okay, so let's say you're a band and you're finally playing out, or you're a solo artist, or whatever you are. You're a duo, and you finally got your first couple gigs. You've been grinding at it for a couple months or longer, whichever. And you just kind of start wondering, like you see your friends having these great shows, and they're playing these really big shows, or you see these other bands in town, and they're like opening for these national acts or whatever, something like that. And you're like, why am I not getting these gigs? Why is my band not getting these gigs? Like, what am I doing wrong here? Like, I think we're good enough. I want to play these awesome gigs. And I think all of us struggle with that at some point, especially when you're really serious, when you're really, really serious about doing something with your music, whether it's a solo thing or whether you're in a group thing. When you really kind of hunker down and everybody's like, yeah, let's do this. I want to do this. And then you just kind of, the months go by and the shows don't improve. Right? You're just kind of playing to the same people, to the same venues. You're not really getting any like press. You're not getting any people, any show offers. You're not getting anything that looks really appealing. And you're like, man, like what is going on here? Like what can I do to jumpstart this process, right? We all struggle with it. And I've been in many bands that have struggled with the same thing. And I'm sure that you guys out there struggle with that as well. It's pretty common. So today what we're talking about is some things that you can do yourself, you can do to get better show offers, to get better shows so that you can kind of start expanding your fan base. Because if you're always playing in front of the same people all the time, you're not growing. You're entertaining the heck out of those people, and they probably love you, and you're getting some super fans, which is really cool. But you're really not growing as a group or an artist and expanding your reach. And that's kind of what we want, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I hope that you find some points of value in this podcast, because it really applies to any kind of situation that you can be in a musical situation. So let's jump into it. Okay, the first thing you want to remember that now this kind of anchors everything. Everything we're going to talk about here in the next couple minutes is all anchored to this concept. Okay, you got to understand this concept. No matter where you are in your career as a band, as an artist, if you want to call the shots and you want to play big shows and you want to get offered big shows, what you have to have is leverage, okay? That's really important. Now, what does that mean that you need to have leverage? Well, what that means is when you play a show, you have to know exactly what kind of turnout you're going to be having. You have to have an idea of what you can bring to the table, okay? What you bring as an artist or as a band. What are you bringing to the table? Are you bringing a full packed house on a Friday and Saturday night because of you? That's good leverage. Are you bringing, 10 people, 5 people to a show where they're expecting you to bring 50? That is not good leverage, okay? It's all about what is your leverage as an artist. And especially when you're in the trenches and you're just starting out, that is probably the most important thing that you want to think about when it comes to building up your shows. Now, another reason why this is very important is because when you play your shows, you're probably going to be playing with a lot of other bands or a lot of other artists. You usually don't play one show by yourself. You get grouped with other shows, other artists on the other bands, and they may ask you to play other shows with them if they like you, which is great. But if you don't have any kind of leverage, you don't have any kind of draw to the point where you have weight behind your band. You got some weight, you got some fans, you got followers, you got people who pay attention to you. It's hard to demand, or I shouldn't say demand. You should never demand anything, but it's hard to request, that slot right before the headliner, or it's hard to request, hey, a certain amount of money for your shows. It's just hard to request these things because you just don't have leverage. Okay. It's all about getting that foot up on the situation so that you can at least call some kind of shots, or at least get offered better things for your band or your music career, okay? So let's talk about how do you gain leverage as a band and as an artist. The first thing that you want to do, and this is going to be right off the bat and it's going to be completely obvious, okay? You got to be good. You have to be good. You have to have something that the audience wants to see, okay? Now, I'm not saying you have to play your instruments amazing and you have to do, you don't have to be like amazing musicians. You don't have to be that. But you have to have something to offer musically that people are interested in seeing. And I don't mean people like your friends and your family. They're going to love you no matter what, I'm assuming. I hope so. I hope they love you. I'm talking about the people that don't know who you are. And as I keep talking about this, I keep spitting into the camera, so I hope you guys aren't getting beaten by that. But you have to have something that people who don't know who you are interested in seeing. You have to have something about your band your act or your element that is just attractive to them, whether it be you're an amazing singer, whether it be you're just an amazing presence on stage, whether your band is just amazingly tight, whether you write really, really good songs. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to nail it down to just one thing, but you do have to have a good product. You have to have something to offer so that people become interested in you and then stay interested. Now, like I said, you don't have to be the best band in town. You don't have to do that. You just have to be good at what you do, okay? That is what the first thing that you need to work on. And if that means getting in a practice room and hashing it out for month after month to where you guys feel you're very tight or you're good at what you're trying to do. If you're trying to be good at, punk, be good at punk. If you're trying to be a death metal band, be the best death metal band you can be. It doesn't matter. Just be good at what you guys are trying to do. That's the core of it all. Because if there's nothing there for people to get into, or people that don't know you to get into, then it's going to be hard to do the rest of the things. It's really going to be hard to nail down the other things. And I will say that this is a lot of self-reflecting needs to happen in this step, because you have to be honest with yourself and say, is something working? Is something not working? And the way you find that out is you look at how people are responding to you. You look at the people that are talking to you and the people that are giving you feedback. Again, don't always listen to your friends, your close friends and your family. Listen to the people who don't know who you are. Okay, get online, see what the comments are. Be real honest with what you're offering. And if you feel like you don't quite have it yet, then find out what it is and get to that point. And it may take you shows to get there too. You play shows, it may take you time to get there, but just figure that part out, okay? I think I spent enough time on that. The next thing you want to do is make sure that, aside from playing your shows and consistently doing that, network with people. Get out there. Go to other people's shows. Make people realize that you exist as an artist, okay? If you're in a big city like I live in Phoenix, Arizona, and we are the 5th largest city in the country. So there is a lot of bands and a lot of musical acts here. You have to work extra hard to get out there and just let people know that, hey, I exist. Like, I have a band. So going to like other people's shows and just networking with other people is a really great way to reach out and just slowly spread the word that, hey, this is the project I'm in. This is what I'm doing. And I wouldn't recommend going out to these places going, hey, my name is Mike and I play in this really cool band. And check out our YouTube channel. Look how cool we are, and do all this stuff. Because I mean, honestly, like nobody's really going to listen to you. All you need to do is just go to these events, introduce yourself, and then talk about talk about anything. Just be cool. Just represent yourself. Be cool. And the time will come when people will put you to the band. People will realize, hey, you're the guy that's in that band. It will happen, trust me. But just get out there, be social, and network with people. That's another thing that you can do to help better your chances of getting better shows down the line, okay? Now, this next tip number 3, is really important. Really, really important. Just as important as being good and honing yourself down is to build up the shows that you currently have. Forget about the ones that you want. Think about the ones that you have now, okay? Those are the important ones because those are the shows that are going to determine if you get better ones in the future, okay? So look at the shows that you have now or the shows that you're planning on picking up in the future. It doesn't matter what size they are. If they're small shows, if they're shows on a Wednesday night, it doesn't matter. What you want to do is work on shows that you already have booked or that you have coming up. You want to improve those. Those are the ones you want to work on so that you can gain that leverage. Because if you don't work on these shows and all you keep doing is dreaming about the show you should be having, it's never going to happen for you. So you got to put time into the shows that you currently have. And how do you do that? Well, you got to promote them. Promote your shows. Make sure that you promote them as much as you can. Promote them on your email list. Promote them on social media, obviously. And tell people about what's going on. Make it exciting for them. Make them get excited about your show. And tell everybody that you know that you think is going to go to this show. It's got to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere. And even if that means a small circle of people, that's good. That's where you start. That's your people. That's your crowd. So start with that and work your way up. And do it show after show. You have to do these at the shows that you already have. And I know it's really hard as musicians to dream about the shows you wish you had, and to dream about the offers that you think you should be getting. We all do that. But the reality of it is that in order to get these kinds of offers, to get these things, you have to work on what you currently have now. If you have a show coming up, see, right now it's November and New Year's Eve is coming up, right? Well, if you got a show on New Year's Eve, plan and promote that show like it is your last show, okay? This is the last show. Plan and promote it like the ship's going down and this is the best thing that could ever happen to people. So be there, and don't get disappointed if people don't show up. Don't get disappointed because it doesn't matter if you plan all this promotion and all this stuff and you don't get the results that you want. What's important is that you're doing it anyway. You're learning how to promote yourself. You're in the practice of doing it. That's the most important thing because that's what's going to carry you through as you grow and as you grow as a band and as an artist. The routine of promoting, the routine of pumping yourself up over and over again is what's going to hold through the next time, the next show, and the next show after that, and the next show after that. So when I say plan like this is the last show you're ever going to play, do that. Learn something from that show. If there's a lot of people there, then good job, awesome. If there wasn't, learn from it and do better on the next one and pump up the next one. It's all about learning from the practice and the routine of growing your fan base and making your shows the best that they can be. Introduce cool things, like do something different with your shows. Have cool light shows or lights in there, or have just stuff on stage, stuff that nobody else has. Just make it something that is different, or at least make the people that are coming out to see you that they feel like this is an event. You want to make it like, wow, this is something different. This is something special. And on top of being an amazing show, they're going to, watching an amazing band, they're going to experience something. And it takes time to learn how to get to that point with your fan base and with the style of music that you play. Every band is different, but you just want to make sure that you promote them, you make it an event, make it something exciting, and then you learn from that one and apply it to the next one. Just keep going and going and going. Eventually, what's going to feel like, because you've been doing this promotion and stuff like that over and over again, it's going to feel like normal. It's going to feel normal for you to be like, well, okay, we got a show. Well, we got to get this. We got to get this. We got to get this. I mean, you're just going to have it down. But if you don't start doing that at some point, you will never get better at promoting yourself. It's all about doing the work for yourself so you can set yourself up later when these offers start coming in, okay? I hope I explained that clearly. I hope I didn't rush through that. But as you can tell, I'm really passionate about this because this really hits home for me, man. And I've been in the thick of it big time when it comes to trying to draw crowds and bring people in. And I've seen what's worked and what hasn't. So, and I'm sure that you have the same experiences, you know. So it's good to hopefully kind of share these things. And the last tip, the last thing you can do is kind of what I alluded to in the previous one, was just be consistent. Be consistent with promoting your shows. Be consistent with playing well as much as you can. I know it doesn't happen every night, but be well rehearsed, be well planned. Plan your shows out and promote them. You'll get better at promoting. You'll be a better promoter of yourself the more you do it, and you'll see what promotion techniques work and what promotion techniques don't work with your fans, but you're not going to know unless you start doing it. And then just be so consistent with the quality and the delivery of your shows over and over again. Be consistent with it. Because if you're consistent, the people that come out to see you will start talking about you and they'll be like, wow, these guys, every time I see them, they just bring an amazing show. No matter what kind of music you're playing, you always have the opportunity to bring something amazing to your fans or to the people that are coming, and the opportunity to make new fans, okay? That's what you really want to do, is you want to keep your current fans entertained and appreciated, and you want to make more fans. And you're only going to do that if you're consistent about all these things that we talked about today. Just be consistent as you can. It's a lot of work and it takes planning, because all you want to do is get up on stage and play. And doing all this planning and promotion, it's, unless you really get off on doing that kind of stuff, I do, it gets really, really nerve-wracking and boring, and it's not stuff you really want to do as a musician. Trust me, I get it. I understand that. But if you don't do these things and you don't take the time to learn how to do them, you're not going to jump ahead. You're not going to get these offers that you were looking for. So put some time into promoting yourself. Put some time into making the shows that you currently have amazing, okay? And when you start working on those and you start learning how to master those, things will happen. Things will come. People will notice. People will notice what you're doing. And then you'll start getting offers. And then you start being able to say, well, our last show we drew, 500 people. And now you know your worth as a band. You start to realize your worth. That's really important, because you'll get offers from all kinds of areas. And if you don't know what you can bring to the table, you don't have any leverage to say, no, we want to move up to the slot, the direct support slot, because we know we're going to bring this many people. If you don't have those numbers and if you don't have that kind of leverage, then you don't have anything to offer, and you kind of have to take the shows that you're offered. So it's all about putting in the work yourself on what you have and keeping your eyes on yourself and not out looking to what you should be doing or what you should have. It's all about keeping your eyes on yourself, your own project, head down, working on how can I improve myself. And if you figure that out, people will start to gravitate towards what you are doing with your music. I guarantee it. I guarantee. The only thing is it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of consistency and it takes some time. But what else are you going to do? You're doing what you love. This is what you're doing. So, man, I just get so excited when I talk about this stuff because, like I said, this is really close to me. I've been really involved with promoting and building shows for my projects, and I just wanted to share this stuff with you guys. So that's what the podcast was about today. I really appreciate you guys sticking around and hearing this. If you're still here, thank you. Just remember, it's all about putting in that work for yourself and making yourself knowing your worth for yourself of the work you put in, so that you now have leverage when you have other people offer you shows, and they will come. Those offers will come. I guarantee it, man. They will. They really will. So just remember that. I hope I wasn't too preachy today. I kind of sometimes I get a little emotional, a little caught up. So sorry about that if it came off that way. But really appreciate you guys coming around to the podcast, and definitely love talking about this stuff. And always, like always, I want to hear from you. Please, you can email me, mike@songwritersplanner.com. You can go to my Facebook page, leave me comments, leave me messages. Let me know what works for you. This is always a two-way street, and I really appreciate it, guys. Okay, we'll see you on the next podcast. Peace and love.